All right, so this is what it looks like when I'm missing two of them. Okay. This is what it looks like at the beginning. Like, I'm allowed to do this video. Let me say this again. I'm allowed to do this video because at least I purchased these and I have a physical hard copy, or like I have them in my possession. So the idea that I'm proceeding to year 2 is acceptable. Okay. I'm missing 2 of them. I'm missing Someday a Bird Will Poop on You and Who Moved My Cheese, but I will get them. So here's the pig. Here's the Tibetan. So this is our review, right? The word for world is still forest. After the Future. Judy Bloom. Lean In. And then we have Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. We have Emerson. Becoming What You Are. Do you see? I have the evidence. Marriage and Lasting Relationships. And then we have 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay. So I'm missing just 2 of them. I have all these other weirdo books. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to throw it in front of your face, though, because it's in year 2. So I have some of the year 2 books, like Hamlet. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is not the same as any of those other books. Maybe like the Tibetan Book of the Dead. We're gonna do Hamlet for like 2 years because we're writing a script. We have a Understanding Plato book. Oh no, David Hume. And then The Use of Lateral Thinking. Okay, so we have this thing where we go to a used bookstore and we go to the shelves. And we go, Spirit, give me my scripts. Oh, I'm going to do the Booklist year 2. I have 25 books I'm allowed on my list. And I have these scripts I have to write in my brain, like Lucifer Ishmael and Purple Dahlia. So like Guillermo del Toro books, like for billion-dollar movies. Okay. So I have these scripts in my brain. And I know there are these other people who write, and then I can download and ingest the intelligence, and then the combination of all of us together is what ends up in the script. Okay, so now we understand how like good co-creation works, because these books will seed in new ideas. And then here's what happens, is that 3 years down the road, you have digested 50 billion lessons surrounding the book you read that you would never have had if you didn't read the book. Let me say that again. It sounds so basic. It's not like we take what's in the book and then put it into a script. We take what's in the book and we put it into our DNA, and then we live a life around the lessons in that book. And then we have ability to communicate those lessons into new original material. Let me say this again. We are Harvard. We read our books and then we live them and we understand the lessons. And then we compute and we write about all of it in new original material. So I don't want to hear you talking about J.K. Rowling. No, I'm not allowed to write about Hermione Granger and hire Emma Watson for this same movie. Let me say this again. I am Hermes, the god of communication, And literally my last name is Granger, basically. And J.K. Rowling stole from me. And I am not allowed to hire Emma Watson for my movie if it's about Hermione Granger. It needs to be original, it needs to be profound, and it needs to be non-compete. And it needs to blow J.K. Rowling away, because J.K. Rowling made Hermione Granger look dumb in every movie, and even worse in the plays. I know. I was sitting there waiting for Hermione Granger to have just one awesome line, and it was nothing. Period. All right. Let's go to share screen. Dumb. I'm dumb. Okay. So, in our original download of the book's Mental Body last fall, we got this Anastasia Ringing Cedars series, but like you can't find the books. Let me say this again. On Amazon.co.uk and on the US version, it is challenging to find this series of books. So we're going to preface this from year 2 forward that if you find this series, buy it and archive it. Like we're a metaphysical library. I know that Kate at the Aura shop in Santa Monica liked this series and they had it on the shelves. And Kate would say this to me all the time. This series is good. This series is popular. This is a like God like doing a stick on me. Okay. So that was the owner of the Aura shop in Santa Monica on Main Street going, that book, that series. So we're going to add it into our Ravenclaw metaphysical library and we're going to talk about it. This is an optional book for year 1 or year 2. We're trying to get it started in year 2. But here, if we look at the whole series, like I can find 6 used the series for $500. I don't know why. Two new $800 for this series. And here's the whole series, the full. So it's Anastasia, the Ringing Cedars of Russia, the Space of Love, Co-Creation, Who Are We, the Book of Kin, the Energy of Life, the New Civilization, and Rights of Love. So we're vibing at this in Ravenclaw. It doesn't matter if it's like porn trash. Let me say this again. I don't care if it's spiritual porn trash. I care that you know about it and you have all the lessons in the book. Why was this book written? Why are there 8 of them? Why was the woman in the Aura shop telling me every single time I went into the Aura shop? She was like, that book. So there is, it's Kelly's wand is named Why. So we're gonna go ahead and read it. And that's why. That's Kelly's wand. All right. So this is just a preface page. I'm going to end up making that Hermione's book review, that page on my website, or that Khamaels book review. I'm going to say book review year 1 or book review year 2, book review year 2, etc. Oh, am I redundant right now? Did you just read? Did you just watch the other one? All right. So here is our first book. I have the Black Lives Matter books on my list. Kelly has a number of these books in Ravenclaw. You have to understand and announce that Black Lives Matter, and you're taking action surrounding it in Ravenclaw. And you have like big ideological fantasies because you're a left-wing master, period. You're the human rights humanitarian that law schools are going to study. You're that person. You're the college professor with 3 PhDs. Okay. Most of the Black Lives Matter books are Hufflepuff. Let me say this again, because that's where you were really studying humanities. And in Ravenclaw, it's about feminine, higher level thought. Let's say this again. In Ravenclaw, it's pro-feminine, higher level thought. Okay. So studying Black women is a huge component of Ravenclaw. So we're going to start with this book. I have 2 scripts that I am going to write, and I'm going to learn how to not become offensive. So I'm going to read as much as I can and surround myself in the most empathetic ways possible. All right, so girl, woman, and other. Girl, woman, other. Girl of Ink and Stars. Hamlet. The Philosopher Queens. All right, so this was on my book list for year 1, that we're just going to go through all the different stories throughout the year, in addition to studying Ralph Waldo Emerson and more self-reliance. Cat, Michael Pollan and the Omnivore's Dilemma. This is where we begin CRI. It's a cyclical reality integration calculation. Let's say that again. Cyclical reality integration. Mathematics. So he is a CRI basic. His brain works on how do you do the lowest karmic return on the back end and do everything good on the front end. Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life. Here is another CRI book we are going to study. We're going to apply the same understandings that Michael Pollan used in the Omnivore's Dilemma and also in the minimalism book, and we're going to really master CRI intelligence. Here is another CRI book that is popped up, even if it's not as popular. It was popping up in the A&R spectrum. The Art of Minimalism, a simple guide to declutter and organize your life. Outliers, a story of success. Now I hear Malcolm Gladwell saying it's also CRI, but it's different in the brain about how you calculate it. It's probably about how human thought, perception of setting expectations and goal setting moving forward develops a better CRI return put out. David's, here's our fun book. When you are engulfed in flames. So we are always going to add something fun and flamboyant. David Sedaris is very left wing and hyper intelligent. Here's our Understanding Plato. I got this off the shelf for $1. It just popped off. Okay. So I get this book, and then my living partner, Simon, my boyfriend that went to Eton, Oxford, and Cambridge goes, well, you have an 8th grade reading list. I don't want to talk about Plato because that's an 8th grade reading list. And I go, no, why do you have no classes? Why do you have no developed or articulated thoughts or philosophies around studying Plato? Somehow you're a master, somehow you're anything. So when somebody's hyper developed in a subject, their brain flourishes with creativity. Let me say this again. When people are hyper developed in a subject, they flourish with creativity and abundance and giving. They don't go, oh, that's an 8th grade reading list. They flourish with life. And they have all the fun ways to look at all the different philosophies or thoughts around. Yeah, so this is not, I don't care if this is a junk book at a used bookstore and it costs $1 and it's on an 8th grade reading list. We're going to talk about everything, and we're going to develop fun, creative ways to educate an 8th grader on how to think about Plato, because we don't know how to do that ourselves. In the most artful, juicy, interesting capacity available on the planet. Ravenclaws should be like college Ravenclaws are college professors. So when I went to school, nothing was educated from my perspective, from their end, and nobody could do anything that would capture my attention, and I always snooze level. I was bored 90% of the time. All right, Essential Writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson. So here is our next book, The Essential Writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Oh, here's a whole list of Emerson. I think we're going to do the spiritual Emerson. We have the portable Emerson. Then we have Nature, Ralph Waldo Emerson. So here are we will have it on our book list. So we have 4 new books. You see how we gave ourselves 1 book in year 1 and then 4 books in year 2? Because we will have been introduced into all the new philosophy, and we will actually have developed an interest to begin an immersion process. Okay, so there's our spiritual Emerson. Yes. All right. Here is our David Hume book. Oh, we haven't been introduced into David Hume yet. Here is our book, The Use of Lateral Thinking. It's the same book as this, same author. Again, so this is a classic. This is from like the 70s. I'm like looking for the same date on my end. So these are these are the classic literature from the 70s for different ways of thinking. So how cool is that? Because we're all psycho millennials, most of us. Here is How to Fight by Thich Nhat Hanh. I think I said his name right. I don't know. Okay. This book has always stood out to me, so we're going to read it. We're now have doubled our book reading list. We were at 12 books in year 1 and 25 books in year 2. All right, Grow a New Body. I don't need this set up professional audio, do I? Do I? We'll talk about that later. Grow a New Body by Dr. Alberto Villoldo. So I find Alberto Villoldo is really fun to read and easy to digest. And he's kind of an intelligent guy. So let's do it. There's a reason why he has 1,000 ratings almost that are hyper positive. And Grow a New Body is telomere binding. Better, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to go to our next Paulo Coelho book, which is The Pilgrimage. On Google, it says which order you should read Paulo Coelho, and this is the second on the list, and we will just follow that. A Contemporary Quest for Ancient Wisdom. So that should also be really fun to read. Here we go. Here's Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime. We've got his comedy and more Black Lives Matter stuff. Next, Biology 101. I know you spent 20,000 hours meditating and building dragon eggs. Now we need to look at actual biology books. You might only have 30,000 hours of Reiki. I don't want to study, like, I don't want to know what a cell looks like. Yeah, I know. I already went to college and I have an art degree and I'm now 50 years old. I know. So we're going to go to that. All right. So now we got, it's the humility lessons. Now we're going to begin Ravenclaw genetics. This isn't even Ravenclaw. It is Ravenclaw genetics, but it's not Ravenclaw genetics, but it is Ravenclaw. So just genes, a very short introduction. These very short introduction series are rather dry, but they get the job done. Then we're going to go to Genetics for Dummies. I don't want to learn anything about how my body actually works, even if I'm in Ravenclaw. Oh, that's our whole book list for year 2. That's actually pretty easy. We'll go through every single thing in our Khamaels book review. All right. I'm trying to think if there are any. Oh, what is all this stuff? Oh, it's the same thing. Chemistry, that would be like year 3. Year 4. Okay, we're good. Stop share.